Hello, my name is Antonio Bruni, and today we're going to discuss maximum medical improvement and what you need to know when it happens. So, what is maximum medical improvement, and why did my weekly checks stop? Maximum medical improvement is a term in workers' compensation that means that you are as good as you are going to get, that your medical condition has recovered to a point that it is not going to recover any further. And what that means and where it gets confusing is that it does not mean you are all better, that you're 100% and that you're as good as you were the day before the accident. What it means is you're as good as you're going to get. So what that means is that your weekly checks are going to stop. That once you reach maximum medical improvement, the insurance company is going to say that your right to temporary indemnity benefits, whether it be temporary total disability or temporary partial disability, those are gone. You don't get those anymore. You are now going to get what's called impairment benefits. So your weekly checks are going to stop. You are going to be expected to return to work if possible, and the carrier is going to pay you an impairment benefit. So, what are impairment ratings and permanent impairment benefits? Once you're placed at maximum medical improvement, the physician that places you there will have to assign you a permanent impairment rating. That's a percentage number. A lot of times the doctor, they're used to the system. They'll just rattle off. They'll say you're at MMI and you have a 3%. And you'll say, what's MMI and what do you mean 3%? MMI is maximum medical improvement. 3% is your permanent impairment rating. That means that's your loss of function. What the doctor does is he goes to a book called the 1996 Florida Uniform Permanent Impairment Rating Schedule. He goes at that book, he looks up your condition, he sees the level of recovery that you've made, and assigns the impairment based on that book. It's usually, if you have a back surgery, 7%. For pain, it's anywhere 1 to 3%. They're fairly set percentages. And that's your impairment rating. Now, that percentage then translates into a permanent impairment benefit. Permanent impairment benefits, the carrier has to pay them to you 14 days after they find out that you've been placed at MMI. They are paid at 75% of your temporary total disability rate. So if you were making $600 per week before you got hurt, your temporary total disability rate would be $400 per week. Your impairment benefit is 75% of that, so $300 per week. If you return to work, they can cut that $300 per week in half. So you could go from making $600 per week to your impairment benefit being worth $150 per week. The rate they pay those is also a set rate, and the way that works is if your percentage of impairment is from 1 to 10%, you get 2 weeks of lost wages. If it is from 11 to 15%, you get 3 weeks of lost wages. If it is from 16 to 20%, you get 4 weeks of lost wages. And 21% or higher, you get 6 weeks of lost wages for each percentage point. So, that is your permanent impairment rating, and that is your permanent impairment benefit. And this is one of the things that is most unfair about workers' compensation. They do not have to pay you what is known as wage loss. The permanent impairment benefit is meant to cover both your pain and suffering, essentially, and also your wage loss, your loss of ability to do the job you used to do. So if you used to be able to do a job making $30 an hour and now you can only make $9 an hour, well, your permanent impairment benefit is meant to make up for that. And they don't owe you lost wages forever because you can still earn $9 an hour. Which brings us to our next topic, which is, do they have to pay me lost wages forever if I can't do the exact job I used to do? And the answer to that is no. All Social Security, all workers' compensation has to pay you is your permanent impairment rating and your impairment benefit. If you can't do the exact job you used to do, they pay you an impairment benefit. What they care about is, can you do any job which is at least sedentary work within a 50-mile radius of your house? And you say, yeah, but I used to be able to earn $30 an hour, and now I have to work a job that pays no more than $9 an hour. You've cost me $21 an hour for the rest of my life. And work comp will say, it's not our problem. The statute is written so that as long as you can still do that job, even if it's only part-time, we haven't disabled you, and we don't have to pay you lost wages forever. All we have to pay you is that impairment benefit. And this is arguably the most unfair part of workers' compensation law in the state of Florida, that they can completely gut your ability to earn a living and not be responsible for more than a few $100s after you're placed at maximum medical improvement, because they can say you can go back to working the cash register at a gas station at $9 an hour when you used to make $30 or $40 an hour. So unfortunately, that's the way the legislature has written the law, and they do not have to pay you lost wages forever if you can't go back to doing what you used to do. So if you have any questions about that, I'm happy to talk to you. We have options. There's things we can do to try to fix that and try to get something out of the carrier for it. Call us today. We have no obligation, free consultations. My name is Antonio Bruni. I do workers' compensation and Social Security Disability here at Michaels and Booth, and I'm happy to talk to you. You have a great day.